I Am Elemental is running their annual Childhood Cancer Awareness campaign. All through the month of September, with the purchase of one Courage action figure, one will also be donated to a child fighting cancer. Courage is a 6.5-inch action figure with 30 plus points of articulation. Molded in durable plastic, she comes with a removable helmet, chest armor, flaming energy sword, and her Courage shield. Order yours today at imelemental.com and give one to a child fighting cancer at the same time. Link in the description below. Order yours today and change a child's life.
Okay, everybody, let's talk about the Vanguard. Hey everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. Today we are talking about the Valaverse Action Force Vanguard. Yes, I'm only about 5 weeks late talking about this, but when this came out, this caused a little bit of a stir, and the more I think about it, the more I want to talk about it. But before we get to that, if there's an excess of that in this video, I apologize. The weather has been crazy here, and it's really playing Molly Hobb with my sinuses. My allergies are acting up, so if my voice sounds congested or there's a lot of excess sniffing in this, I do apologize for that right off the bat. But back to the Vanguard here. What this is Valaverse's first dip into making vehicles for their 1/12 scale Action Force line. And they did this in partnership with Resvani, I don't know how you pronounce it, but they are described as a boutique designer of BA cars made in the USA. So Valaverse Bobby Vala apparently went into partnership with them to create this, because if you check out their Instagram page, and I'm gonna put their Instagram and Valaverse's in the comment section below, or I'm sorry, in the description below, so you can check these out yourself. But apparently Valaverse went into partnership with them because if you look at the Vanguard here, this is basically a toy version of one of their vehicles. And looking at it in here, I think it's this one. What is this? Or these don't have names. They're just called Resvani Motors. It doesn't look like these vehicles actually have distinct names to them. They're just made to order. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but it definitely looks like a toy version of that. So what we have here is a 1/12 vehicle, and the dimensions on it are 20 inches long. So at 20 inches, where's my tape measure? 20 inches long makes it about this long. Okay, so it's pretty beefy. There's some size to it. You can see that it's a 4-wheel drive. It's an SUV. It's not bad. I'll be the first to admit it's not bad. I'm not the biggest fan of Action Force, but this isn't bad. This is actually kind of cool. Now, where it caused some stir is in the price. That it's right now being priced at $184.99, so $185. A lot of people seem to chime in and think that was too much money. I don't know. I kind of feel like that's, for something this large that can fit at least 4 or 5 1/12 scale figures in it, I feel like that's actually a pretty decent price. Because not only are you getting that, let's take a look at everything that comes with. You can see here a lot of the accessories that we're getting with it, that the top hatch pops off and you can put a turret piece on there. On that turret piece, you got like dual 50 cals. You can see them somewhere right in here with both of them being belt fed out of chambers. You can also see that there's like a unique dual barrel blast effect. So you can put that on the belt feds. It comes with 2 gas cans or jerry cans, comes with a working winch, comes with a trenching tool, the shovel. What else does it say it has? That I'm not entirely sure. Like there's like an M60 and I think it fits onto that swing arm right there that's just sort of there at the bottom of the picture. But we're also going to be getting a driver action figure. And the post doesn't say anything about whether or not the action figure is going to be a named figure or if it's just going to be a generic army builder so that you just have like the driver for the Vanguard here. Also, the tires are rubber and the front tires turn with the wheel so that you can like steer. You can also see there are some running boards there. All of the doors open up. The trunk opens up. I don't think the hood opens to see the engine. Let's see what we have here. Okay, check this out. Base offering is the vehicle, opening doors, working front tires, rubber tires, working winch, removable hatch, which I'm guessing is that top hatch that you can replace with the turret, opening trunk, shovel, twin gun turret, muzzle flash, M240 with control arm. That's what I thought was the M60 with the control arm, the other belt fed. 2 gas cans or the jerry cans, figure driver, working tow hook, 20 inches long, all for $185. Now, if we go back to this image, this is the color that it's going to be. Apparently, this is the color that won whenever they tried to put it to a vote. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but something this big and this basic, like you can pretty much paint it to whatever color you want. Because truthfully, going back to this, I'm actually a big fan of that tan right there. I think it actually looks better in that tan. I wish it was that, but it's not, because I also like how, like, in that tan, the black running bars up top and the black section on the hood and the tires, they all stand out a little bit better, and you have more detail. You can see more detail in the rims than you can with this gunmetal gray looking, or this carbon fiber gray right here that they're using. I don't know. I also feel like there is a lot of versatility with this, because obviously you can use it for G.I. Joe if you're not a collector of Action Force. You could also paint this thing like a real gloss black, and you could make those shield SUVs from the MCU. You could make your own design of those, or paint it a high gloss black, and it could be the Beast. So, I mean, there's a lot of versatility with something that's kind of, I don't say plain in a bad way. It's just very open to modification, open to interpretation. And I think that's another thing that this has going for it, that you can paint it, you can mod it, like it doesn't look like any one specific thing. For me though, it's a little too pretty. Like, I don't know, I like the old Humvees that they had in the military. I like the Vamp. I like the Ozstriker. I like vehicles like that. This just looks a little too pretty to be a combat vehicle. Now, I haven't really seen images of it painted with all of that kit on there, with the turret and the 20s, or the twin belt feds, figures in there, driver back there. I don't know. Maybe once you put all of that on there, it has a completely different look and might look a little bit more combat ready. I'm not entirely sure, but I can see a lot of people wanting to go in on this and wanting to buy this. Now, there was a lot of discussion in the Instagram post about how $184.99, $185 is too expensive. And I actually commented back on this. And here's what I basically said. Let's do some math that for 20 inches long with one figure, this is $185. Okay, basically rounding up. The HasLab at 34 inches long ran to $75. Now let's take the action figures out of the equation. The Dragonfly comes with 4 classified action figures, so that's $100 worth of figures right there. You peel that off the price, so now the Dragonfly is at $175. I know that's not how it works, but let's be honest, that's how we kind of justify things in our head, especially when we're backing HasLabs, that the more figures that are released, the more it brings down the base price of the vehicle. You know what I mean. So if we take the $185 and we take the Valaverse figure, which right now Valaverse action figures are going for roughly $30, let's just round it to $30. So you got $185, you peel $30 off of that, that's $155 for the vehicle. That's not bad. Like, the Dragonfly is bigger, and the Dragonfly has LED, and the Dragonfly does have like all of those blast effects and everything, and like just the whole cool factor to it. But you're talking about something that, even though it's not as big as the Dragonfly, it arguably has more usable room on the inside that you can fit. It looks like 4 figures inside the cab: driver, passenger, rear passenger. 1 in the turret if you have the turret attached, so that's 5 right there. And who knows if there's like facing seats inside the hatch, inside the tail hatch when that pops open, or if you could even just put another figure inside the tail hatch when it pops open. I think the price is actually really good. And when I first saw it, I was like, there's no way I'm going to get that. But honestly, the more I look at it, the more I'm not sure if I'm going to completely pass on it. It's not up for order yet on Valaverse's website. The only update we've had so far since this image went live on Instagram is this image, where you see that they're starting to actually do like molds of it, that we have the what did they call it? Hold on, let me pull this up. The test shot of the top part of the Vanguard. So that's where they're at right now. I don't know if they gave a time frame of when this would be available. It doesn't look like it, but this is something that's definitely in the works. So, what do you think? I think it's pretty decent. I think you get a lot for $185, especially coming from an indie company like Valaverse. And you also get the figure. And I think the deciding factor for a lot of people is going to be, what's the figure like? Is it going to be a unique one, or is it going to be an army builder? I kind of hope it's just an army builder. It's just like a generic driver type figure, and it's not like a named figure. Because and we know there are people that would army build a vehicle like this even at $185, if people were army building it, they could just have all their drivers lined up and then use any of the numerous named Action Force figures that are out right now as the driver if they want to like make it a hero vehicle. I also like how there's pegs on the running boards right there. Gives me like old Striker or like old G.I. Joe Cobra vehicle vibes, that like you could have that thing like just rolling through the desert or rolling through the forest, and people are just like hanging off onto the sides, grabbing onto that roll bar up top, just standing on the running boards with their gun out in one hand. Like, that would be really cool. So yeah, the more I look at this, the more I'm like, do I want it? It's a possibility. I don't know. Like I said though, I do think there's a lot of potential with this. Like, especially if it's this dark color, it would be cool if it holds paint well, that like you could just paint that anything you wanted to make it. It's big. It's, once again, I don't mean it badly when I say basic, but it's big, it's basic, it's a big open canvas to do whatever you want with it. So that's all I just wanted to say. I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. I do think it's cool. I just don't know if it's exactly for me or if it's what I'm looking for. But I can see that I could see a lot of people being into this. I don't know, maybe if it came in tan. Until next time, everyone, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.